We are born with certain karmic conditions that predispose us to certain attitudes. We pull things into our life because of what we are learning, what we are working through, and what we need to let go of. Because of resistance in the past, we may have heavier karmic conditions around certain areas in life in this lifetime. This is meant for us to be free, not meant for us to feel like we are being punished. And the difference between us feeling like we are being punished or being damned and us understanding that we are being blessed is a matter of grace. We can face anything when living in grace, so that we understand that all is for us and that we are not being punished, but we are being freed. Freed from the past, freed from limitations. Nothing comes easy, especially when it's valuable. So we're learning to let go and let God. We are learning that we are not the doer, but that we can resign our power over to a higher power and unite with that power so that we don't need to suffer the way we make ourselves suffer by resisting the course of events, by trying to control, by worrying, manipulating, trying to basically survive and stay safe and put ourselves in situations where we are sure we can handle what we must face. But then life comes along and we don't always know if we can handle what we must face. And those are the moments when we go deep to the core of our being and conjure up that connection to a higher power, or we conjure up that will to live or survive. We're truly tested at those moments of how much power we actually can access and how much we are actually accessing regularly. Because we all get lazy and complacent when life goes along exactly as we want it. Even if it's not such a great life, at least we can manage it. But then some catalyst shows itself and everything changes in a flash. This is what the Kundalini can do. The Kundalini can change your life like lightning striking. But when that lightning strikes, at that moment we have a choice. They say when you die, there's a flash of white light. That is the mother light. And this light is so brilliant and so awesome that we turn from it. We are terrified of the mother light. That is our liberation. That is the portal to move beyond the realm of samsara, as the Tibetan Buddhists call it. The wheel of sharp weapons returning is our mind, our thoughts coming back to us as things. And then we have the other option. We turn to the warm, dim light of samsara. And then we begin wandering into the bardo, facing our demons, thinking they're real, not knowing we're dead. It's just a dream. And our fears become monsters. And we see different gods. We don't know we're dead. And then slowly we come to realize we're dead, and we start panicking. And the Tibetan Buddhists say we come upon men and women having sex, and then for some reason we're attracted to a certain pair of them. And then we get between the male and the female, and that is how we are conceived, and those become our parents. We are attracted to them because there's a karmic connection from the material realm of this earth. But if we were to turn to that white light, that brilliant light of liberation, we would escape samsara for ourselves and a liberating factor for our ancestors from the past and in the future. So what prepares us for being able to face that light? What prepares us for being able to face the brilliance of the mother light? This is the foundational light, the mother's womb of light from which all form arises, that everything we see is inside the womb, is coming out of the womb of the Divine Mother. Our body is her body. Everything we see is her body. We're living in her body. But when the true her, when the brilliant, white, bright light, formless her comes to take us back, we turn away. So in yoga, in a meditation, we practice facing that white light that is inside of ourselves. Right here at the third eye, you will see that tunnel of light when you meditate deeply. That is the mother light we go into at our moment of death. So when Jesus and the saints say, I die daily, is that we meditate and enter into this portal of white light, and we lose the profound association with the personality and the body and the mind and the feelings, and we enter into cosmic consciousness. And this is called samadhi. The more often we enter into samadhi, the easier it is for us to let go. If we do not allow ourselves to enter a deep meditative state, it is harder for us to let go. Living in grace becomes effortless when we have the physical experience, when we feel the truth of who we are. However, in the meanwhile, we can still learn to live in grace by learning to let go, check our attitude, and surrender. It has been said that everything is going to happen as it happens. Everything has already happened because of the illusion of time and space, that everything is predetermined. And so all we really need to do is let go and ride the wave. This is what the Tao is. This is what surrendering to the mother light is. That light in ourselves that we could flow. We could live fearlessly in flow, but it feels impossible when confronted with actual fear and things that terrify us. So little by little, when we understand that every moment is yoga, not just when we're stretching and in the formal position of doing yoga, but every moment is yoga. So when we have something in our life that is uncomfortable for us, something we don't want to do, and we get all these negative emotions wrapped around it, and it wakes us up at night and we worry, we can understand that we can let go right now, not engage those parts of us that are interacting and causing all this turmoil, but observe them and let go and tune into the presence of the mother light within us and say, everything is the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother is in me. I can have command over myself, and I can surrender to the way things are. I can realize that my true power comes in letting go and letting God. My true power comes in letting things be as they are, and working on my negative emotions, not trying to change the world and control other people, because this is when we're resisting our own lessons. The other people are there for us to see ourselves, to change ourselves. The friction helps us change. When we're a wise yogi, when we're a spiritual practitioner, we understand, for me to try to change them is not going to be very good. But for me to try to change myself because they're there triggering me is probably good. So when we do that, and when we turn everything like a great Aikido master around, our so-called enemies dissipate. Our so-called enemies become our friends. Our so-called enemies are our teachers. And our life becomes an effortless expression of divine grace. To live in grace means that we understand life isn't easy. We understand we have karma. We aspire to understand all of our complexes and our unconscious blocks that are keeping us away from achieving that union or yoga with the divine. We understand there's something there. This karma is there. We understand it. And so we use the tools available to us in our life every day as much as we can to work through those parts of ourselves that we understand are holding us back from the realization of our true identity, which is beyond the personality. So to live in grace means that we shift our attitude, we turn our attention, we change our priorities, and in a flash, our life becomes sublime, no matter our conditions. Because we feel the presence of God in all things. We hear the sound of God in the traffic. We hear the mantra everywhere. We see her eyes in all eyes. We see grace everywhere. But the key is we have to feel it in ourselves first, meaning that when all sound is the divine sound of God, even the cars honking their horns, even the person yelling, even the dog barking, that means that all these horrible things about me that I'm so worried about holding down are also God. And when I accept them and don't react to them manifesting or rearing their head, then I'm okay with them being there. And they slowly begin to merge with the light because we've allowed the light of love and compassion and understanding and non-reactivity to embrace those parts of ourselves. And then we begin to merge into union or wholeness with ourselves. And that is how we merge that self-sabotaging, oftentimes subconscious dark part of ourselves with the conscious part of ourselves that is reaching for the light with awareness. The only thing stopping us and why it just sometimes we keep trying it doesn't work, we keep trying it doesn't work. First of all, nobody's perfect. The idea that we need to be perfect is a delusion because everything is okay the way that it is. And when we have tried to achieve something and we gave up or we fell, we just get back up. And we stop judging ourselves and we lighten up. And what we really work on is an attitude of surrender and acceptance. And keep coming back, no matter what is going on, to the transparency of peace. When we keep coming back to the transparency of peace, meaning I don't need to hide anything from myself or anybody else, it just moves right through me. I'm at peace. I don't need it to be this way or that way. I don't need to control things. I let go and realize this is all divine. So when I die, I won't be coming from a place of survival of the personality. Because you think you'll go toward the white light, but the moon is your instinctive reaction, your unconscious mind. And our unconscious minds are not going to go toward the white light until we have really gotten into the bottom and the core of who we are and the fear that drives us, the survival fear that causes us to create so much chaos and unnecessary trouble in our lives. Because we won't let go and we're causing ourselves pain. It is said, the only thing that causes pain is the resistance to pain. Don't resist what feels uncomfortable. Move closer to those foreign things and places in yourself that seem so out of character. Move closer. Do something different. When you want to jump, take a step back. When you want to yell, be silent. And let yourself feel in a productive and healing way rather than a destructive and reactionary way. And little by little, we start to let the fear bleed itself off of us. And we start to understand those things we think are protecting us are actually hurting us, and they're very toxic to us. Because in the end, if everything is happening as it will, in all this trouble we're creating trying to make things the way we want them, there is such a thing as manifesting. But like I said, when we are in alignment and we aren't holding on with this demented sort of need or attachment to the outcome, that's the catch. When we're holding on to the attachment to the outcome, it means that we don't think we're okay the way we are. And so it doesn't work. When we know we are free and when we know we are okay under all conditions with whatever we have, and we don't cling or hold on to what we don't have or what we want, then our thoughts become things. But to get to that state of mastery is going to take all the things I've been talking about. It's going to take positioning ourselves in our life, being guided into the right places in our life, making the right choices in our life. And the thing is, if everything is happening as it should, then we kind of always know the right choice. But we create sometimes a little bit of friction because it's going to happen how it's going to happen, but we create a little bit of upheaval, which doesn't change anything but cause trouble in our life. So when we tune in and we get our projection and our unconscious complexes, and we all have them, and it takes time. And it takes a lot of time to know when it's intuition or delusion. So all of this takes a lifetime of mastery and a lifetime of letting go and learning and being open to learn and not to make claims about ourselves or how enlightened or not enlightened we are, because the truth is, it's relative who you're comparing yourself to. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Realize the Mother Light waits for us at the end of this life, waits for us every time we meditate, that we can feel that light and let that light wash over our body, deep into our heart, allowing us to be reborn every moment. Being reborn every moment means that the past is not weighing us down. And in that way, we become immortal. That we will die, but we won't really die because we've been dying the whole time. What makes us heavy and old and gray is that as our body is breaking down, we're dragging the past behind us. But when we can do the practices to let go of the past, we become lighter and lighter with time. And we are okay and prepared for this so-called thing called death, which isn't that big of a deal except that it's profoundly unknown. We want to secure every little thing about every little moment of our day. And so the biggest one we can't control, death, we've created into this monster with all sorts of fears around it. Because if we could trust what we were, and we knew and we're in tune, embracing what we truly were, death is no more different than blinking or turning around or laying down to go to sleep. You will always be here because the Mother Light is eternal, immortal, love that is ever renewing. Just like your life, every day you have a new chance to be born again and to practice things a little bit differently if it didn't work out so well yesterday, and embrace yourself and let go and practice letting go, because practice letting go is practicing letting go of the fear of death, so that when we die from this body, the celebration can really begin. That you are always free.